So we're in January, believe it or not, and it's around this time of year that we start thinking about resolutions and things we want to work on. Well, how about organizing your life, creating goals? Maybe that means writing the book you've always wanted to write, or maybe, like me, it means reading that book that's been on your shelf all these years. Well, individual couple and family coach Andrew Blackwood joins us on the show today to talk a little bit more about how we can accomplish our goals in 2015. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you so much, Cheryl.
It's so great to have you here. And you know, this is the time of year where we all go, okay, this is going to be different this year. I'm not going to be the same person I was last year. And I'm not going to scream into the end of the year exhausted and overweight and unorganized, but I'm going to get myself together. And then by like the February, we're already throwing our resolutions out the window.
People fizzle out.
I know, and then that's just so discouraging. I don't even make resolutions anymore just for that reason. How can we change that?
Well, you know what? We're going to talk about some tips today that can help people get through the entire year and actually achieve their goals.
So you're in favor of resolutions?
Well, I don't call them resolutions as much as I accept the fact that when you set goals and you have a clear plan, you're more likely to change them and succeed. And you want to do things that you can keep going forward with for the rest of your life. So one of the ways that I encourage people to make sure they're setting clear goals is ensure that it's very specific and you have a concrete behavior that you know that you're going to be focusing on. People could say, you know, I want to lose weight this year. Well, yeah, it's a good goal, but how clear is it? You know, it's not, you know,
just wishing that it would happen.
Exactly.
If it hasn't happened in the past, it's never going to happen in the future unless you do something different.
Right. So, for example, one of my goals this year is to work out at least 3 times a week for 20 minutes for 12 months.
Okay, and how are you doing so far, can I ask?
You know what? I'm doing a good job.
Yeah?
I'm
making it so far.
I'm
Well, we're
passing,
still
right?
in January, so.
Right. But that's where you start.
Absolutely. And, you know, as you're setting these goals, and I know a lot of people will say, what's your 5-year plan for your life? Or what's your 10-year plan? And a lot of people are really into goal setting. But as people of faith, does that change a little bit? Because I know personally, I can be a bit pig-headed sometimes, goal-oriented. So I'll be driving toward a goal, and then all of a sudden God will kind of show me over a little course of time, actually, I really wanted you moving in this direction.
Right.
How do we deal with that?
See, and that's one of the beauties of being a believer. You're open to the Spirit as He moves and as He leads, because although His thoughts are towards us all the time, they're so much further beyond ours. So we do want to be open to what He's saying and what He's doing, but we don't want to take an all-or-nothing approach. So we do want to set our plans and have our goals, but primarily we want to be prepared to reprioritize at any given moment.
Like we would understand that God would be in favor of us being healthy. We don't have to,
Right.
you know, like pray for 10 hours to know that that's actually a good goal, to lose
Right.
weight and get in shape. Or there's certain things that are just life goals that are good, right?
Right. Which is why I encourage people to really think about the value and the meaning behind their goal. That's essential, because sometimes we think about, you know, I feel good and I want to do this, but that's like emotion-based motivation, where there is a value-based motivation. So for my goal of working out, sure, you get the physical benefits, but beyond that is, you know what, I want to be the best version of me. I don't want to be who I am in December of 2015, who I am today, right? So, and I want to be healthier and stronger. Those values mean so much to me that's what gives me that motivation to keep moving forward.
And the thing is, if you're making that decision based on emotion, well, our emotions change from day to day. So one day I might be excited about losing weight, and then it might be minus 40, and you know, I've been working 12 hours, and I get home and the house is a mess, and I'm like, I don't really feel like working out right now.
Exactly.
I always used to say, you know, I've been on a few diet plans in my life, and I see a few in my future. I used to say, nothing feels as good as skinny feels, or, you know, like, is that helpful? I don't know. Helps me.
See, but the thing is, what I find to be even more helpful is identifying the barriers to my goals.
Right. Because those are the reasons we throw out our resolutions by February.
Exactly, because we're not anticipating that, you know, there are going to be obstacles. So one of my biggest challenges is probably having too many goals. So that then leads me to the 4th step, like plan to address the barriers. So that means me sitting down, okay, looking at how many goals do I have? Are these realistic? Okay, so if I have too many, now what do? Now I have to reprioritize, get those things out of the way. Okay, maybe I'll pick three of my 10 goals and, you know, try to accomplish those first.
So you used yourself as an example. So you have a goal to work out. What would be some barriers, and how would you plan to overcome them?
Well, another barrier for me would be the whole, I don't feel like it. or thinking that, this is not enough. Well, reminding myself that every bit counts, right? Reminding myself that, my daughter's going to benefit from me being stronger, from me being healthier, right? So even if that means putting a picture of her where I need to work out, or having an alarm go off on my phone to remind me, right? And the last thing I think for me is step 5, encourage everybody to do this. Have supportive accountability, right? Someone
That's
beyond
hard
yourself.
and good,
Yeah,
right? In a way.
It is. But it sets you up for success. And I mean, we have to really talk about what we mean by supportive.
Yes, I like the fact that you said supportive accountability. So
Right.
it's not your friends kicking you in the butt saying like, you are not, living up to what you said you would do. What are you doing?
Right, making you feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Some people use that kind of motivation, but to be honest with you, after a while, it wears off, it becomes annoying, it becomes unhelpful, and then you don't want to connect with these people. You
So
avoid
it's
them.
your friendship, basically.
Right,
is what you're
exactly.
saying. Okay.
So you want to find somebody who is compassionate, who's understanding, who maybe has the same kind of goal, right? So, and sometimes people say, I'm not sure I can do that, but really, all you really need is a reminder. So whether it's a telephone call or it's a text, or even somebody who will partner with you and do the same thing.
Do it with you. And you mentioned setting a timer on your phone. I think technology is really important to setting goals. Like for example, for you wanting to work out 3 times a week, you can actually schedule it or put it in your, in your calendar and have reminders. And when people ask you to do things on that night, you can say, actually, I have something.
Precisely. Routines, they really, really help people to accomplish goals.
We had a great talk before we were on air here about me and the fact that I'm organized, but not as organized as some other people I work with.
Right.
One of the key ways, honestly, because I can be so forgetful when I'm really busy, is scheduling things. Like if I put it in my phone, generally it's going to happen.
There you go.
It's so helpful.
Yeah, use the resources you have.
Now, what about procrastination? Because procrastination can sometimes be a friend of mine. There's nothing like a deadline to get me motivated.
Right.
So, you can have a great goal and you can even have a plan to accomplish it. But one of those barriers, I think, for a lot of people is like, why not do it tomorrow? It doesn't have to be today. And tomorrow sometimes keeps getting farther away. I don't know how that works.
Well, you see, but that then goes back to having a plan, right? And looking at the barriers. So if you know that procrastination is a barrier, then you kind of figure out, what do I need to do so that I can be charged and ready to go and be proactive? Sometimes it means just knowing I just got to get started, right? Or I got to take some other things off my plate.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and so now, what if we fail? Because I think this is a barrier that a lot of people face, is that they get a great start in January. Matter of fact, I've joined fitness clubs for years and had all the machines to myself. And then January 2nd, it's like wall-to-wall people and I can't get a machine. And I just laugh because it doesn't last for more than 3 weeks, really, honestly.
Right.
And I want to say to those people, look, if you want to pay a fitness club membership for me that I will actually use, I would love that, because right now you're paying it for no reason at all. I used to have a coworker I used to say it to because he did it every year. He paid for his membership and he never went.
Oh,
It's like, please pay for mine.
And that happens too. Again, it really comes back to what is the meaning for you? What is the value? And sometimes we sign up for a gym membership when I think the barrier and the focus really should be working on consistency. So even if you have a plan about doing something small at home, that will build a consistency so that when you get into the gym, you're already in a routine, right? So you know that this is what I'm committed to doing, and I can do this. A lot of the times we get defeated, not because we failed, but what we think about the failure. Right? Everybody fails.
So, and we're just talking about fitness here, but our goals could be things like writing a book.
Right.
You mentioned that you have a personal goal for that you haven't quite got there with.
Got to complete that.
Absolutely. It can be socializing more or investing more in people. One of my goals is loving people better, serving people better. I really believe that leadership in the Bible is serving. So I'm always thinking about, how can I be better at this? How can I be less selfish? How can I think about people more? I'm not sure how to put that into your structure, though.
Oh, it goes back to the first point. We want to be clear. So when we talk about loving people, you want to focus on a behavioral action that you can do. So when we think about loving, that could be calling somebody. That could be encouraging someone, right? That could be preparing a meal for somebody. So you guys just got to pick one of those things that you want to do and write it down, say when you want it to be done by, and there you go.
And if I get cranky and I fail at that, how can I make that not the end of it all? I think a lot of people are very dramatic. Like, I've messed it up, I'm done.
Right, it's that all or nothing thinking.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about supportive accountability. We want to learn how to be supportive to ourselves too. and remind ourselves that we are works in progress. This is not about perfection. This is about progress. Every little bit counts.
So celebrating your small victories, no matter how small they are, every single one of them is a victory. Rather than being what I'm not doing, think about what have I done?
Exactly. What will I do? What can I do, right? Why is that important to me? What about that is going to give me life and strength?
Now that I've told you my goal, I'm a little nervous that you're going to check in with me like in a month.
You can count on it. You can count on it. But you know what?
Don't you check in on me either.
But I'll be supportive. I'll be caring. I'll be compassionate, right? And you can hold me accountable too, because we have the same goal.
It's true. It's true. Well, thank you so much. This has been incredibly helpful.
My pleasure.
Hopefully, those of you who are watching, you're going to have incredible goals that you're going to be accomplishing. Write us and let us know if you've been able to accomplish something just because of his amazing advice. We'd love to know about it.